Hello and welcome to another This Week We Talk episode. I'm Dustin Southworth, and it's the new year. And with me is my good friend and pal and buddy and co-host, Tyson Everotting.
Good friend, pal, buddy, co-host. 4, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I was trying to get as many as I could in there.
I like it. Appreciate the intro. How you been? Absolutely. Happy New Year, by the way.
Doing all right. Yeah, Happy New Year's. It's a new year, new you. As we always say, as everybody always says, overly done.
The overly done cliche of New Year, new me. You know what? One of my New Year's resolutions, my personal New Year's resolutions, is to not use the phrase New Year, new me. Because every time I use that phrase, I always feel like I fall disastrously short of my New Year's resolutions. Then again, I'm also that sort of pie in the sky guy where I go big or go home. So my New Year's resolutions are always completely unattainable. So that brings us to this topic on this week's show. We're going to talk about attainable New Year's resolutions, and we're also going to talk about New Year's resolutions as they relate to the podcast.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a few things coming up in the new year that we want to try, that we want to set our minds to, set our goals for the way we want this podcast to come across. Basically, we just want to work harder this year. we don't always want to admit that or want to set that as a goal, but I think this time I'm excited for this New Year's resolution that we're going to be doing more episodes. We're going to be consistent this year. I'm not going to say how consistent we're going to be. We're going to leave that a little open, just so we don't overcommit ourselves. But we're going to be more consistent this year. And we're going to try a few new things with our all of the channels that we have, all the YouTube channels, all the podcast channels that we have. We're going to try some things out with those. And I've got this really interesting idea that I'll admit I stole it from somebody else.
Nice.
But I want to do these 30 to 60 second tutorials for video games. We've kind of got a gaming tech YouTube channel, and I want to utilize it more. And so I kind of came up with this idea. I'm playing a game, Star Citizen, and it's very complicated. It's a steep learning curve to get into, and I just want to break down the basics, like how you even move in the game. And I want to do this in 30 to 60 second chunks, just to keep it condensed and to keep people moving so they can just check out our video real quick while they're in the game and jump right back into it.
So for me, the two games that come to mind instantaneously are the two games which I think that I've, at least at this point in my gaming career, have mastered, and that would be FIFA. And I would love to give more tips on FIFA, especially getting into the franchise mode, and I could break it down and do it really quick as far as the transfer window, because I think that's where most people get frustrated and get confused, and you end up with the same squad, and they deteriorate over time, and so you need to constantly keep your roster fresh. And I know people get frustrated in the transfer portal because the scouting isn't automatic. You're not going to find an automatic 90. So I would love to do more stuff like that. And then the other is Red Dead. And I only say Red Dead. I haven't mastered it by any stretch. If you play me online, you're more than likely going to kill me 87,000 times because I'm not very good. But I've wandered. And if there's anything about wandering in Red Dead, there's just little things that you can do in Red Dead that don't even have anything to do with the gameplay whatsoever. And I think that's what I love most about the way Rockstar does it is, Sure. I just completed finding all 20 dream catchers. I've gotten to where I got all the pirate gear. And so to do stuff like that, to give you little tricks and trades, it's just custom attire, and I think maybe the gamers would really get into that. So I'm with you on that. As far as the consistency on the podcasting, definitely on board. We named it specifically to try to give us an incentive with This Week We Talk. That means this week. That means weekly. Now, there's going to be weeks where it's probably just not going to happen for whatever reason. We're at a distance with one another, and sometimes communication breakdowns happen.
Can be tough, yes.
Sometimes the Bills clinch a playoff berth, and so there's going to be some Sundays where I'm going to be busy watching playoff football here in the very near future. But consistency being the key, and I think we've structured it to the point now where we've got enough other avenues to take if we don't have enough on tech, if we don't have enough on gaming, if we don't have enough on the stuff that we like to nerd out about. I think we have different avenues and different guests that we can bring in to at least keep the content fresh. And even if it's just something as simple as a 5-minute conversation with somebody, maybe that's not even a podcast between me or you, it's just a 5-minute interview that you might have done or that I might have done, we can incorporate that and just keep content active. I don't care so much about the long form podcast in and of itself, as long as the content is continually coming out. I think we're doing good on our New Year's resolution.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's just breaking it down, just getting it out there and keeping up with it. Like you say, there are many things we can do with it, and I'm excited to see what we can come up with for the year and to put stuff out there and get people listening and excited. All the stuff that we nerd out about. Absolutely.
Personal New Year's resolutions. Do you have any that you're willing to share with us here?
I don't know that I have any specific ones. I mean, that a lot of the big ones for me were kind of related to this stuff. Like, this is another one for the channel. I kind of want to redesign the website. And yeah, a lot of it's just hunkering down on this type of stuff and getting into it. Personally, just utilizing the ideas that I kind of have and for maybe side businesses and stuff, and actually sitting down and figuring out how to implement them, how to take over things. So
how to take over.
That's a big one.
I like that. Another one that you could probably do is force your friends when they're dragging their feet to do stuff. Not saying any names, but I'm guilty of dragging my feet. So that brings me to my personal New Year's resolution, which I think is slightly attainable. And I say slightly because there's going to be days where it's just like, this isn't going to happen. But sure. It's all about like working on yourself, and working on yourself is, I think, the hardest part. And that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards doing New Year's resolutions at a gym, because they want to work on themselves. They want something about their life to be better, whether that be better health or, physical, mental, spiritual, what have you. Working on yourself is hard, but I think effort, attitude, and well, that's it, really. Effort, attitude, and a little willpower can go a long way, and an enthusiasm. And so I think what I'm going to bring to the table, not only here with the podcast, but really in my daily life, is that effort and that attitude and that enthusiasm into everything that we can do. And if you really try to make everything that you do the best, then at the end of the day, even a little bit is going to go a long way. So that's just kind of myself. I'm working on myself this year.
Yeah, no, that's great.
New year, new me. Oh, we did it. We broke
oh,
it.
no. Dang it. What's funny? Before the podcast, I also told myself that I wouldn't say that on the podcast.
And you did
And then I did it right away.
Right out of the gate.
Broke out right out of the gate. Told myself I wasn't going to do it. Broke my own rule.
Well, you put it in your head. You say, I'm not going to say this.
Right?
I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say this. And then you're going to say this.
Say it.
Exactly. It's the broadcaster's jinx. We do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I guess one other thing about the channel I forgot to say for resolution. I also we're going to do some streaming this year. We're going to do more online streaming, and I would like to do it on all of the channels that we can. We've got a Twitch channel, we've got a Facebook gaming channel, and we've got a YouTube channel. So I want to stream on all of those on a consistent basis as well.
Cool.
Playing games and talking those tips and talking to our followers as we do it. So
I'm with you 100%. You know what I'm also intrigued about streaming is let's say 45 minutes beforehand that we were talking and setting up this particular podcast, and we had some really entertaining bits that I thought would have gone really well, and all of a sudden you're like, well, you should be recording this. Well, I'm thinking that, can we do like a pre-show?
I
streaming live a pre-show?
Absolutely.
I'm all about it.
Now I want to lay this out though as we do that. I as we grow and everything, I want to think to the future, and that may at some point become a subscriber only. If we get to the point where we can have subscribers to our channel, I want to kind of keep that exclusive to our biggest supporters. Cool. Obviously not right now. We're not that big. We're not even close to that, but I kind of want to look to the future and lay that out for people. That may be something that comes along at some point if we build up our brand and give people reasons to subscribe to us, get that pre-show, maybe a post-show, whatever we want to do. So kind of keep that exclusive eventually. Not right now, obviously.
100% with you, buddy.
We'll draw people in, and then we'll throw it behind it. Monetization model.
It's the standard American dream, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's this new thing. Get on board, and now you have to pay for it.
Get excited about it. Yes, exactly. We give you the first one free.
We'll give you a couple free.
Yeah.
We'll have a couple freebies for you. So that's a lot on the New Year's resolutions. We kind of skipped over Christmas. Anything from Christmas? Like, let's look back. Anything that you were excited about with the holiday season, whether that be A, gifts you got somebody else that you thought were cool, or B, gifts that you got in return?
So I did get a couple really cool gifts. Nice. I got this technology project.
We're going to get an example. I like it.
It's a little touch screen for my Raspberry Pi. And what I'm going to do with it is like a magic mirror type thing where it shows me the weather and the news in the morning. But I can have a little more control over it. It's not a Amazon Echo or anything like that. It's all locally controlled. So that's kind of cool. And like I said, it's touch screen, and I can make a music player out of it and stuff as well. I also got I want to do some more traveling this year. I've got some plans ahead for a couple of places that I'm going and want to hopefully flying to. And so I got a travel backpack that I asked for Christmas. But the cool thing about it too is it has a USB port that you can plug a battery pack into, and then you can plug your phone into it on the outside. So that's kind of a cool little feature of that backpack, cool technology feature of the backpack.
Nice.
And one cool thing I got my mom a speaker that she can hook up to her Amazon Echo, and she can ask it to play stuff, and then it'll play it through the Bluetooth speaker, which I didn't know you could do. I didn't know you could connect Bluetooth speakers to the Amazon Echoes and stuff, but you can. Found that out.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice.
How about you?
Well, as was noted on my social media pages leading up to the Christmas holiday, and this is like the perfect time to start a hobby, because if you start a hobby like 2 weeks before Christmas, your entire Christmas is going to be essentially dedicated to that hobby. And mine was, I got loads and loads and loads of vinyl albums, which I am super stoked about. I got gift cards to go see vinyl album stores to go get some vinyl albums that I would want to pick out. My collection increased from like 2 to 13 in the span of the Christmas holiday. So super stoked about that.
Nice.
I've got into the vinyl hook, if you will. It took me a while to get all the P's and the Q's and everything together, and to get a vinyl player, and then to get vinyl records. And this just in, like, we only meet once a week as far as the vinyl nerds to go get vinyl albums. I mean, I did not realize how pricey vinyl albums are, but I am so willing to fork over the extra couple dollars to get the classic albums, to get the artwork with it. All on board with this vinyl movement. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but I used to love going to Hastings, the store, and my friend and I would go once a month when we got our paychecks, basically, and go pick out a record. That was always a fun thing, but it was so devastating when Hastings went out of business, or at least in our area it did. But I was so devastated. But it's nice that there are a few of those classic record stores still around. Not many, obviously not as many as there used to be, but there are still a few around.
Well, and they're starting to pick up a little bit more and more, especially here in the in the Tri-City area, where we're seeing a lot of people incorporate vinyl albums with some of their different offerings. Like we've got a gaming store here in downtown GI, which also does vinyl albums because it's such a niche market that if you can find that niche market, you're going to have people that dedicate a dedicated customer base that come in, as you say, once a paycheck to come and check out the new albums that you might have got in, to check out to see what you have to offer. So I think the market's there. And again, I have personally met 3 or 4 people, and we must get paid on the same day because we're always down at the record store on the exact same day, almost at the exact same time. And it's like, looking through just to see what might be new and if there's anything that catches the eye. So it's a fun hobby to have, and the hunt's the best part. When you find something in like the $3 bin at the record store, and it's like an album that you've been hunting for, and maybe it wasn't a chart topper or extremely popular. When you find that record and it's like, that's the one I've been wanting for, and you get it for $3, bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
All aboard.
Yeah, I actually just saw this interesting stat the other day that so there are 2.11 million vinyl albums sold in 2021. That was ending in December 23rd. This is an article from Pitchfork. This is the biggest vinyl sales week. I guess it was just a week. Biggest vinyl sales week since 1991. So vinyl records are coming back in a big way.
And we've been saying that. We've been saying that for a long time. And I think it's finally starting to register to people like, oh my God, vinyl's made a comeback. Well, no, it's been making a comeback for a long time. It's just taking dinosaurs like me, to get on board with it. And
latecomers to it.
Well, now that we're on board, like, I'm super excited about it. So that's been the latest and greatest hobby that's kind of superseded like gaming and everything else that I do in my spare time. Right now, it's like, find a vinyl record, put it on the record player, enjoy. And
absolutely.
And like I said, the hunt's the best part. I got vinyl records that I got over the Christmas break that I haven't even put on the record player yet, just because I'm so excited that I got them.
Sure.
I haven't even opened it yet. So there you go. That's the Christmas recap. We've touched up on the New Year's resolutions. Time to touch up on some of the nerd stuff. And nerd stuff, starting first of all with Disney Plus. Big news over the past weekend. The Book of Boba Fett, anxiously awaited since the last episode, cutscenes to Mandalorian. Book of Boba Fett comes out, and I want to start by getting your initial impressions, because I have a feeling that mine might be a little bit different than yours.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So I felt like it was very on par with Mandalorian, which of course it's all the same people that were involved in it. So,
literally takes place like right after Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean they literally show it in Mandalorian.
Yeah, there's no time
gap. Picks up right there. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it was interesting because they do a lot of flashbacks, which I don't know how I'm torn on this thing where they kind of, I don't want to say they retcon it, but they kind of go back to the original movies and kind of explain like how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, basically. I mean, I'll spoil that part.
Oh no, this is fair game. We're going to put a disclaimer. We're going to do spoilers here. So
right, yeah. So they go back to and explain how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, and how, because that was kind of a big contentious spot, was like, well, he died in this episode. How did he come back here? And they never explained that, but now they finally did. So that was kind of interesting. Like I said, I'm kind of torn, like them going back and using that, but then also it is kind of cool that they explained it. But then it was kind of, the first episode here was kind of establishing him and how he's going to operate, and especially after taking over Jabba the Hutt's place. So it's kind of interesting to see how he's kind of interacting with the scum of Mos Eisley.
Yeah,
and I dug it. I liked like I said, it felt and looked and very like Mandalorian. So and I was a fan of Mandalorian, so I think that was pretty cool. I liked that part about it.
Everything's there for me, except for pick it up. I felt like the flashbacks. Now, did we need the flashback to figure out, okay, he died, now he's back? How did that happen? Did we need that bit of flashback? Yes, I think that was very well incorporated in the Book of Boba Fett. However, I felt like, okay, at some point the flashbacks were dragging him out maybe just a little bit too long.
Sure.
When he's enslaved, essentially, and he's shackled up and he gets out, and I just felt like the flashbacks drug on a little bit too long. I felt like we could have had that one flashback, saw him getting out of the pit, and been, okay, he's alive, we're moving on. I felt like at that point we could have moved along a little further. I'm waiting for a little bit more. I just felt like the initial episode from Mandalorian had me hooked right out of the gates. Now, this one fell a little bit short on that. There was a little bit more added backstory to it. I'm sure it'll pick up as the series moves forward. But the first episode really was kind of a bust for me. On that note, I was expecting maybe like it to pick up right after Mandalorian, which it did, but I was expecting that action to carry with it. And there was a lot more backstory than I think I was prepared for.
I definitely get that. I don't know what they're setting up because I didn't follow those side story canons and stuff, so I don't know who they're setting up is with the Tusken Raiders. It's clearly somebody that they're trying to establish that he knows or whatever. That's part of his current history, but I don't know his story well enough. I don't get into those books and all that stuff, so I don't know where it's going, but obviously they're trying to set it up like, oh, this is somebody that's testing him. But yeah, that part did go on long, and they didn't really the whole like dragging him through the desert and and the kid thing, and that definitely was long.
I felt like we got it, I felt like we get the point. Okay,
it's established.
He gets out, he gets picked up by the Tusken Raiders. He gets out from the Tusken Raiders because he's freaking Boba Fett. We could have gone with about maybe, I don't know, 30 less minutes of that and more of the present day action. But that's just my 2 cents on it. Like I said, it fell a little bit short, but I'm not going to jump off the Book of Boba Fett yet because I'm still hooked. I'm still expecting it to be very action packed and action induced. So looking forward to future episodes. So
I think it'll pick up now. Hopefully, hopefully in the second episode it'll start to pick up.
Yeah, after this negative review we just gave him on TWWT, Disney Plus, I'm sure is very upset with their negative review.
Jon Favreau sitting here, those jerks.
Probably the only ones in Star Wars universe that gave it a negative review on the first go. So look at us go.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of something
controversy,
something that doesn't get a negative review, music we're listening to, and got a new song that just dropped. Was excited over the New Year's holiday. You know this. I think we mentioned it last time we did a show in terms of music that we're listening to today. I'm a huge fan of Dirty Honey. Dirty Honey to me is like the Aerosmith of the 1980s, with that sound, with their guitars, just the way the vocals sound. I mean, it's not like Steven Tyler-esque, but it's good, and it sounds very, very, very Aerosmith oriented. Well, they did a cover of Aerosmith, which is probably why I draw so much conclusions to Dirty Honey and Aerosmith. They did Last Child. Anyways, on New Year's Day, I'm watching hockey because it was the Winter Classic, which is the coldest Winter Classic, by the way, ever played in the NHL, 6 below zero. And I was more concerned with how the hockey players were keeping themselves from freezing to death other than scoring goals. But it was a fascinating hockey match. But the pre-game show, or the pre-intro music, was Dirty Honey covering Prince, Let's Go Crazy. and it's the latest single. So it just has recently dropped for radio ads as of today. And so we're going to hear this more and more and more, but it was debuted on the NHL Winter Classic, and I am a huge fan of Dirty Honey, and I would encourage you all to go to whatever listening device you like to use, whether that be Spotify, whether that be YouTube, whether that be your local FM radio. Check out Dirty Honey's Let's Go Crazy. It's a Prince cover, and I think they do a pretty darn good job. I would assume that we could play like a 8-second clip maybe associated with this show, but then we'd have the copyright laws, so I'll let you handle all those legalities. But
Yeah.
if we could attach like just a little snippet of Let's Go Crazy by Dirty Honey. That's the latest and greatest music that I'm listening to.
They like to have long intros, apparently.
Oh yeah. Are you
And there are
listening for a
YouTube
spot
videos.
to put it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have it queued up. I didn't know if we could do that. If the fun police would have taken us out.
Probably. So yeah, I'm not going to play it right now.
Yeah, just like attach a little clip afterwards
Yeah.
on
Yep,
on the links. So
people get a taste of that.
I got the MP3. I can send it to you too.
Sure.
You might know I have it.
Yeah, of course you do.
Okay, so
Great. Yeah.
that's me, and that's music. That's what I've been up to. What have you been up to in the tech world?
So let's see. At the end of the month, last month, I picked up a new microphone. If you haven't noticed, right here in the video that I have right in front of me, this the Rode Podmic. It is probably the second most popular microphone among streamers and podcasters and stuff. Obviously, the Shure SM7B is the top of the line that everybody talks about and wants to play around with.
I have a 58.
This is yeah.
Mine's SM58, and it has a bunch of tape on it.
Yeah.
So apparently, like, you just don't go mic dropping. It's yeah,
Generally not. No,
not a good plan. Thought I'd drop the mic, and yeah. So, anyways, sorry. More on your microphone.
Clearly didn't go very well.
I just got distracted when you said the SM70s something.
Yeah.
So continue.
Yeah, one of the popular ones for the streamers and stuff is the 7B. But I'm not going to spend $400 on a microphone. I'm going to spend $100 on a microphone. But for a top quality one. Exactly. But also, I spent a little more money and got the Rodecaster Pro, which has a profile for the pod mic, the microphone that I'm using. So I just plug it in and tell it that I'm using this microphone, and it automatically sets it up and makes it sound good and makes my voice sound good. So that's kind.
Your voice does sound really good today, by the way.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. That's definitely the microphone and some of the settings that I changed. Better than my natural voice, clearly. But yeah, it was just a really nice setup, really easy to set up, and like we said, we're going to be doing more podcasts, and this is not an official announcement, but for my actual daytime job, I'm going to be using these things as well, these microphones and the Rodecaster Pro and everything. So that's kind of why I'm investing in microphones and better audio quality and headsets and everything to go along with this. But I'm really digging this microphone. It's really nice. I need to get a better boom arm because it's a super heavy microphone. I was not expecting that. Mm-hmm. I was definitely not expecting that when I got it. I was like, oh my God, this is like feels like 5 pounds of microphone. But yeah, I mean, which just goes to show it's a solid microphone. And like I said, it's been great. It works just out of the box. It's a great microphone. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. It's like I said, it's kind of one of those top ones that all the streamers and everybody's using. So that's where I saw all the reviews and everything and knew it was going to be a good microphone for me. But it was also on the cheaper end, so I could build up and invest in it and get that. I do have obviously some cheaper microphones than that as kind of spillover and extras, but I do want to invest and have better quality one when we do these in person and get actually are able to get together. It'd be nice to have some extra microphones and have some nicer microphones to do this with.
Is also a resolution where we should probably get together in studio and do one of these in person.
Yeah, definitely. I am definitely down for that.
Because I think at this, one of the words I want to see phased out is you're on mute or virtual meetings. I'm getting a little over them. So ready to meet you in person and to have a Watchful Penguin podcast in studio.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So,
and it was funny. My coworker and I were just talking about doing the webinars and everything, and they're great for the information and great that more people are able to attend them because they're generally cheaper and you don't have to buy all the accessories that go with it, the plane tickets and the hotel and everything. So on that end, it's very nice to be able to attend these things that we normally wouldn't be able to attend, especially as smaller organizations, smaller radio stations and nonprofits and everything. So it's nice in that end, but you miss out on the networking that actually attend like a webinar or get to be there in person with each other and the conversation that you have and the network and the general connections that you make when you're in person.
Agreed.
It's so different.
There's a connectivity. As much as we are connected through technology, we lack a connectivity when we're there in person, whether that be for podcasting or whether you mentioned for online meetings, for seminars, and for things of that nature. I totally agree, and maybe a New Year's wish is that we can get back to some more and more and more of that as we learn more and more and more about this. So there you go.
Right. Yes, very much so.
That's me dancing around an unpopular topic by dancing around an unpopular topic.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean.
No. So there you go.
So yeah, that's my technology. Like I said, the Raspberry Pi thing project that I'm working on, and then having the Rodecaster, which is an amazing device, amazing mixer and everything, and then the microphone that goes with it and makes me sound good. So those are my technology things.
He does sound good. He sounds good. I gotta admit, from the last podcast we did to this podcast, I was like, one of two things happened. You either started smoking a bunch of cigarettes, or you got a new microphone with the new compression. And
what is it? Big bottom is the setting on the Rodecaster.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Well, next week, I think we should line up a guest. I'm going to shoot for it. I'll try to find somebody interesting to talk on This Week We Talk. And let's go over that. Before we let you all go, Dustin, is going to go over our socials and our YouTube pages and all of the places where you can find us.
Oh, yeah.
Starting now.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook. We've got a Twitter account. We've got 2 YouTube channels, one for the podcast and one for our gaming.
I got you.
That's all under the Watchful Penguin.
2 YouTube channels are better than 1 YouTube channel.
Yeah. We've got a Twitch channel. We've got Facebook Gaming, which is somehow separate, but also somehow connected to the Facebook page, which I still don't quite understand, but it's complicated and I have to get to it 2 different ways. So if you're into Facebook gaming, check us out there. And then we've got the website, of course, that all of this will be posted on, plus all of the places that you can find podcasts. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all the big ones. So check us out wherever you want. Obviously, if you're already listening to this on a podcast system, thank you for enjoying our podcast. But please review us and rate us so we can get out to more people.
Yeah. And no negative reviews.
No.
Don't review us like we reviewed the Book of Boba Fett, please.
Yeah,
I got a really
please don't
bad
do that.
feeling that we might have set a negative precedent. Like, the people that really love the Book of Boba Fett are going to be like, 1 star, 1 star,
yeah,
1
yep.
star. This is a horrible show. These people don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. Maybe we should like think that before we do popular TV show reviews.
At least brand new shows.
Oops.
Maybe we should stick to old shows.
Yeah. Or shows that we know everybody hates. Like, let's do a review on the band Nickelback. Let's do that for next week's show, because everybody already hates them.
There we go.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week we talk. And next week we talk, and hopefully we'll have a guest and talk more about technology and other things that we are nerding out on. For Dustin, I'm Tyson, and we wish you all a very pleasant good evening and a very happy new year.